You may be looking at the figures in front of you, and you may be saying to yourself, Super Mario Plus 45, I thought you were a Mario channel, not a Sonic channel. Well, here's the thing. I'm not just a Mario fan. I'm also a Sonic fan. And what turned me back to Sonic? The films. Both Sonic 1 and 2, with Sonic 2 being, honestly, second place. Of course, that has been beaten by, well, actually, I should say even third place. Because, second place is the Mario movie. Not saying it's bad, but honestly, favorite movie right now, it's still a FNAF movie. But this was the first movie merchandise, other than anything turtle related, that I remember purposefully trying to get everything for. Mostly these, the 4-inch figures released by Jakks Pacific. These were released between the early spring and fall of 2022. There are 2 waves. This video will be split into 2 parts. Actually 3, because really there's a set of figures that should be really just put in the miscellaneous section, along with 2 of the 2.5-inch playsets that I also have. But let's get started with wave 1, and we'll start with Sonic himself. Okay. Let's start off part 1 with literally the first Sonic movie figure I got. And that was, of course, Sonic himself. So technically, we have been waiting for this Sonic figure since 2020. As of course, as you know, at the first movie, there was merchandise released for it, but unfortunately, it used the original design, which, yeah, literally got updated, like, before the film came out. So, of course, when Jakks Pacific was able to make stuff for the second film, they already knew what the newer design looked like. So they were able to release the figure, pretty much how they needed to release it. And I gotta say, this figure looks very accurate to Sonic, how he looks in the movie. The figure has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 points of articulation. He can swivel at the head 360, he has movements in his shoulders, his elbows, yes, elbows. If you know anything about Jakks figures, these figures technically are the first main Sonic characters to get elbow joints in their arms. Most of that would be reserved for the larger figures. The figure is very well put together. In fact, he is so detailed. Fur is sculpted all over the body, and his Puma shoes, although not legally branded, are very accurate. The only inaccuracy is the way that the stomach patch is painted. For some bizarre reason, this is how all Sonic figures came, although thankfully with the second wave Sonic, this ended up being fixed. The figure comes with one accessory. This is the Snow Rider, aka the snowboard Sonic is seen using in the movie during the Arctic chase scene, which feels very much out of Sonic Adventure or Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Overall, if you are looking for a movie Sonic figure, this is perfectly fine. Although note, it will not totally accurately scale with the movie Mario figures. But overall, I'd still say this is a very good quality figure. The figure, of course, being 2 years since this film came out, is a little hard to find. You may be lucky to find it on eBay. But overall, I give Sonic a 4 rings out of 10. The second figure that I ever got in this set ended up being Miles Tails Prower. This figure is slightly shorter than Sonic, as is accurate. Now overall, this figure is very nice. However, unfortunately, this Tails does not look very accurate to the actual film. There are a couple of things that are definitely different. First off, the eyes are definitely smaller than the head. Also, it seems this Tails may have been based more off of his movie 1 design, in which he was a lot more chunkier. It's possible that originally that same model was going to be used, but I think Sega was like, hold up, that model is not very accurate, change up the model. Otherwise though, this figure does look good. This figure has 14 points of articulation. Yes, the extra of course being the tails, which are on a ball joint and are actually is what is helping him stand up. as if you try to pose him straight up, he will unfortunately fall over. A point of caution that many people have noted is the fact that Tails, being a smaller figure, has much more fragile joints, particularly the elbow bend. And this figure, being soft, does not help much. Oh, and by the way, I meant to show Sonic for the snowboard. He's on it. But yeah, obviously he can ride it, so he looks like he's snowboarding. Cool. Tails comes with one accessory, which is the blaster that he is seen to use in the movie. The figure can easily hold the blaster in his hand, making for, yes, obviously, some very funny screenshots or pictures. There we go. There we go. He is basically telling you to subscribe to the channel. Overall, unfortunately due to not a lot of accuracy, and the fact that Tails is overall a not as much interesting figure, I'm going to have to give him 3.5 rings out of 5. I meant to say 5 with Sonic, but oh well. The figure in the first wave that I acquired was Dr. Ivo Robotnik, or Dr. Robotnik, or Dr. Eggman. This figure was actually acquired the same day as I acquired the Tails figure. This figure is definitely the most articulated out of not only the first wave, but this series of figures, having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 points of articulation. Now the figure is hindered in some cases and assisted in others. This figure, bizarrely enough, features double jointed elbows. However, the wrists are not articulated. He also features a thigh swivel and an ankle pivot, which only goes up and down, similar to the turtles. Now my figure's left leg is a little loose, like everywhere, and probably due to how this figure was stored, his head seems to be turned off to the side a bit, but I can fix him real quick to be like this, but that doesn't really do much. Seems like this figure just was not treated kindly by my storage methods. I have tried to fix this before the video started, but well. This figure also, of course, has a molded head, which is meant to look like actor Jim Carrey, and technically this would have been his final film role if he had not signed on to redo the third movie, as a rumor is circulating that he will be back. Hopefully he is. The figure comes with 2 accessories. The first is the latte with steamed Austrian goat milk, which you can hold in either hand, and both hands obviously are meant to hold this accessory. And the double jointed elbow, of course, helps to sell the illusion that he is, of course, drinking a latte. Of course, you can drink steamed Austrian goat milk latte. Robotnik also comes with the attack drone seen in the first movie, and at some points in the second movie. The drone has the little weapon arms, which are folded in, and you'll need to fold these out, although it should be noted to be careful, as unfortunately these can pop off and fall to the ground. Here it is fully unfolded. To note, by the way, the packaging on the back originally showed that the front light would be painted, but of course, obviously, that is not the case. Of course, you can do that yourself. Overall, I give this Robotnik figure a rating of 5 rings total out of 5. Figure of Wave 1, aka the last one that I actually received, was Knuckles the Echidna. Now, in the second movie, Knuckles is voiced by Idris Elba. I meant to say that Sonic is voiced by Ben Schwartz, and Tails is voiced by his in-game voice actor, Colin Shaughnessy. Anyways, Knuckles was actually pitted as the second antagonist of the film. However, of course, as you know, Knuckles eventually became friends with Sonic. And by the way, yes, this year, hopefully we should be getting the Knuckles spin-off series on Paramount Plus, as he's in a Super Bowl ad. Anyways, again, yeah, Knuckles is voiced by Idris Elba, and actually one thing I meant to note was that while most figures were bought in store, with Sonic being bought in store by a parent, Knuckles was actually the only figure, I believe, except maybe for 2 and Wave 2, that actually had to be purchased online through Amazon and paying slightly more than normal price. Anyways, Knuckles theoretically should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 points of articulation just like Sonic. However, a asterisk should be added that really it's more of 12, because as you can see, due to the dreadlocks in his head, he cannot move his head at all. Knuckles comes with the same accessory as Sonic, and he is able to ride on top. Let me get him into a snowboarding pose real quick. It's also obviously important to note, as with these being $10 figurines designed to be for children, the quality of these figures are not like the $20 Mario movie figures that I looked at last year. Of course, the main reason that, by the way, that Knuckles and Sonic, using pose, are both given snowboards is mostly due to the fact that during the marketing of the film, a heavy point that was advertised in the movie was the snowboarding scene in Siberia with Knuckles and Sonic. Because Knuckles, by the way, cannot really move his head without removing his head entirely and replacing it, you can't really get him to look sideways, so this is the best I can do. And I'll get the other figures in for this last shot, and I'll conclude with final thoughts. I give Knuckles a 5 out of 5 rings. Alright, this concludes the first part of the review of the Sonic 2 movie figure retrospective. Overall, I'd say this was a perfect first wave to start off this line with. You get your main set of characters, as well as interesting accessories interesting accessories to recreate portions of the movie, including the snowboarding scene, and just general making up your own stuff, such as, say, Dr. Robotnik has kidnapped Tails, but Tails shoots him in the head with the gun, or something, I don't know. But yeah, a great first wave, and great if you just want movie Sonic figures. I did mean to mention, though, that Robotnik unfortunately does not scale very well with these figures. There was a Target exclusive 4-pack, actually, that was released, which contained 2.5-inch versions of these figures, including Robotnik, which were really just the same molds, just shrunk down. However, if you want something that scales more accurately, that would work perfectly. Just use the 2.5 versions of Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails, and just put them with this Robotnik. There you go, it works. Perfectly works. But yeah, stay tuned for part 2 of this review, in which I will be discussing the second wave of figures, and the third part will be the miscellaneous figures. See you then.